Brian here with you. And some cool breaking news. You're watching this on YouTube because we have the video form of the podcast now. Super exciting. Guys, look, let's just get right into it. It's U.S. Open week. The third major of the year is finally here. Let's break it down for you. All right, I'm super excited to have the third major here. Our first major of the year, the Masters, won by world number 2, Rory McIlroy. Second major of the year, the PGA Championship, won by world number 1, Scottie Scheffler. Obviously, those two names are ones to keep an eye out for here in the 125th playing of the U.S. Open here at Oakmont Country Club in Oakmont, Pennsylvania. The last time they hosted it was 2016, and the winner of that one was Dustin Johnson. He had a 4-under to win it, defeating Jim Furyk, who had 1 under, Shane Lowry 1 under, Scott Piercy 1 under, Sergio Garcia was even par. Shane Lowry noticeably blew up on that last round, shooting a 6 over. Jim Furyk was 4 under in that. Dustin Johnson was 1 under, so Dustin Johnson got his U.S. Open, and I believe that was that might have been the year after he blew it out west at Bandon Dunes, I want to say, was the 2015 U.S. Open when Jordan Spieth won that one. So we're back at it here again 10 years later, or nearly 10 years later, 9 years later at Oakmont. And I'm going to tell you this, Oakmont is a beast. I love every year at the U.S. Open, everyone always posts the videos of the roughs at the U.S. Open, and this year is no different. The roughs are no joke here at Oakmont Country Club this week. Oakmont, a par 71, just over 7,400 yards, 7,427 yards. I think the most notable hole is the par 3 8th, which will be playing at 300 yards some days. On their official scorecard, it's 293 yards, but depending on where they put the pin in the tee box, it's going to be probably an over 300 yard hole, which is crazy to think about that. But we've seen long par 3s in past U.S. Opens. The Country Club had one. Los Angeles Country Club had one. So, I mean, nothing crazy to see from the USGA. And they always do a phenomenal job getting the course ready and making sure that the course is hard. And even Scottie Scheffler said it's one of the hardest courses. I think he said it's the hardest course. So this is going to set up to be quite an interesting U.S. Open. Sorry, I don't have a cough button on this thing yet, but we'll get there. But thank you for tuning into the New England Golfer. This is episode 3. I'll give you a quick update on my golf game. Not that anyone really gives two poops about it, but played Old Scotland Links. I could only play 9 because I had to get a mattress delivered. Got a Sleep Number, no free ads, but just gave them one. So I only played 9 holes, shot a 41, did pretty good. And then I played Rochester. The frustrating thing when I played Rochester on Saturday is I had 3 birdies. That's right, 3 birdies. And I still shot a 90, which was ugly. But I had a par 4, which I got an 8 on. And then I had a par 5, which I had a 10 on. And if I turn those into bogeys on both holes, that 90 becomes an 83. So I'm playing Old Scotland Links tomorrow morning to celebrate the U.S. Open. And then this weekend, I think I'm free. So anyone want to golf this weekend, let me know. But let's get back to the U.S. Open. All right, 125th playing. I mean, this is... Everyone that has played the practice rounds here at Oakmont this week, they all say it's the same thing. It's one of the toughest courses that they played this whole year, and that's typical of the USGA. Let's break down. We can't quite break down the money yet because the USGA hasn't announced it yet, but we can kind of take a guess. Last year's U.S. Open, the purse breakdown, it was a record $21.5 million purse for last year's U.S. Open. The winner, of course, Bryson DeChambeau, took home $4.3 million. And you get 750 FedEx Cup points if you're eligible. So pretty good payday. So I'm assuming the winner is probably going to be closer to the $4.5 million, probably even higher than that. The purse will probably be over $22 million. But well, let's take a look at some big names that you won't see this week at the U.S. Open. Ricky Fowler didn't qualify, but he did get into the Open, but he did not get into the United States Open. He got into what was formerly known as the British Open. Max Homa, he was in the playoff. All he had to do was not three-putt the 18th green, and Max Homa was going to be in. And there was the Ohio qualifier. 5 guys made it in, and that's a tough break for Max Homa. 5 guys. I think it's Cam Young birdie on the first playoff hole, sent everyone home. But all Max Homa had to do was not three-putt. I think he actually three-putted 17 and 18 in his qualifier. So I really kind of screwed the pooch there at the very end for Max Homa. So you won't see him. Webb Simpson, he won the U.S. Open in 2012. He fell short in qualifying. Keith Mitchell, he won't be in there. Jake Knapp won't be in there. Matt Kuchar, one of the most recognizable names in golf, one of the older guys. He won't be there. No Adam Hadwin. Nikolai Hojgaard, Garrick Higo not going to be there. Camilo Villegas, I don't even think you've heard that name in a long, long time, so no Camilo Villegas. Francesco Molinari, Brandt Snedeker. He's the captain of the 2026 President's Cup. He won't be at the U.S. Open. Billy Horschel. So these next few guys, it's going to be an injury. Billy Horschel's not in there. He just had hip surgery. Sahith Theegala also had a neck injury. He won't be in there. Will Zalatoris not in there. Again, another injury. And, of course, Tiger Woods, who blew out his Achilles back in March, won't be in there. So some big names, including some former champions that won't be in the U.S. Open field this year. So we've already said, look, Oakmont is a tough course. It's probably not going to be a low score that wins. And it rarely ever is a low score that wins the U.S. Open. Maybe outside of Rory McIlroy's U.S. Open win at Congressional, at 2011, the summer of 2011. He had a really low score that week. Apologies for that. I know the USGA was very heated that it was a low score that won that week, and Rory just dominated the field just outside of D.C. that week for the U.S. Open Championship. All right, I clearly have something stuck in my throat. I can't stop coughing. I'm not big into the betting market, but we'll take a look at these. These odds are brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook. The favorite out there, plus 275, Scotty Scheffler. Then right behind him, not right behind him, but behind him is last year's winner, Bryson DeChambeau at plus 750. John Rahm, plus 1,200. Rory McIlroy, plus 1,200. Xander Schauffele, plus 2,200. Colin Morikawa, plus 2,500. Joaquin Niemann, kind of surprisingly up there, plus 3,000, along with Ludwig Oberg, plus 3,000. And Tommy Fleetwood, looking for his first win over here in the States. Tommy Fleetwood was a great golfer over on the DP World Tour. Hasn't quite brought it over here to stateside. And again, I'm not going to really bore you to tears, but just some names that's kind of stand out. Justin Thomas plus 4,500 to win. Jordan Spieth plus 7,000 to win. Captain America Keegan Bradley plus 9,000 to win. Tony Finau plus 10,000, and so on and so forth. So take that with what you will. I think Scotty is minus money. Top 5, top 10. Bryson is minus money. Top 10. Those are the only minus money bets that you'll have. Everything else plus money. I feel like John Rahm plus 110. Top 10 is a pretty good bet. Same thing with Rory. Rory is plus 110. Xander plus 180. I think Ludwig Oberg plus 260. Top 10. Those are good odds. But those are the betting markets if you're interested in those. We'll look at some interesting the marquee tee times here for the U.S. Open. I'm reading these off of a computer, so if it sounds boring, that's because it is. But you might be interested in this stuff. So 7:40 a.m. on Thursday morning, Rory McIlroy, Justin Rose, and Shane Lowry. It feels like Rory and Shane Lowry always play together. They're best friends. They're both Irishmen. They always seem to somehow be grouped together. They played together at the Zurich after it was Rory's first tournament after winning the Masters. So how about that? 718, Ludwig Oberg, Adam Scott, Hideki Matsuyama. 729, Xander Schauffele, Jose Luis Ballester, and Bryson DeChambeau. 114, Jordan Spieth, John Rahm, Dustin Johnson. That's an interesting trio. I mean, you have... I think John Rahm's going to be the best one out of those three. I mean, that's just a super interesting trio because remember, Dustin Johnson blew the U.S. Open and Jordan Spieth won that one back at, I think it was Bandon Dunes, but I could be wrong. And then 125 on Thursday, Scotty Scheffler, Colin Morikawa, and Victor Hovland. It was Chambers Bay, not Bandon Dunes, Chambers Bay. And then, so yeah, that was Spieth at the 2015 Open at Chambers Bay, not Bandon Dunes, Chambers Bay. DJ won it 2016 at Oakmont, the last time I was here, and Rahm won it in 2021 at Torrey Pines. Look, I wouldn't even bother with Dustin Johnson. I mean, ever since he joined LIV, he's kind of gone downhill. I mean, he had success early on in LIV, but he's kind of really gone downhill there. So the last thing for me to talk about here on the U.S. Open is who do I like? The U.S. Open, you have to be one of the most accurate drivers out there. I mean, there is no two ways about it. You have to be accurate off the tee. So we'll take a look here. Aaron Rai is the most accurate, 73.4. Colin Morikawa, 72.8, right? So, I mean, Corey Connors, 68. Sepp Straka, 68. Snedeker's not in. Carson Young, Matt McCarty. Where does Scotty Scheffler rank here in driving accuracy this year? He is 30th at 64.5%. So, and let's take a look at Rory. Rory is 173, 50%. That's not good for a U.S. Open. Not good for a U.S. Open, all right? Let's look at someone who's actually done pretty well at past U.S. Opens, Harris English. I think he has a top 10 or top 5 in the last 3 U.S. Opens he's played in. He's ranked 44th driving accuracy, 62.7%. Harris English is someone, if you want to sprinkle some money on, I think he might open some eyes for you. But Scotty Scheffler, for me, is the guy, if I was going to put money on this, would be the guy that I put money on. I mean, ever since giving Rory that green jacket, he's won 3 times, including the PGA Championship and the Memorial, a signature event and a major this year. I know it's such a easy cop-out pick. It's a boo pick. Like, oh, wow, what original pick. Scotty Scheffler to win. But for someone who strikes the ball so well and for someone who can control his distance so well, how do you not go with Scotty Scheffler? The one thing that's going to let him, if it does, the one thing that would let him down this week would be his putting. And the greens at a U.S. Open are no joke. You have to be able to putt the ball well. And in order to putt the ball well, you have to have a good approach game. So I want to go back and look at that, is greens and regulation. PGA Tour, greens and regulation stats. Who's best at hitting the greens and regulation? Sepp Straka, 71%. Okay. Let's look. How's Scheffler at greens and regulation? He's 6th at 70% greens in regulation. Now, I will tell you this. You can be a little wild off the tee, but you can, and as long as you find the green. Rory is 77th. I think Rory is a fade for me this week, even though he is the 4th most favorited golfer here. Like I said, plus 1,200 to win, plus 220 top 5, plus 110 top 10. I think I got to fade Rory. His stats don't really back it up. I mean, look, he made some phenomenal shots at the Masters this year. I mean, he made some Masters winning shots, but he also nearly crapped his pants at the Masters and almost gave that one away and won in a playoff over Justin Rose. But I think I'm, strangely enough, a former U.S. Open champion. I think he knows how to play in these tough environments, but I think I'm going to fade him. I don't know if his game is quite there at the moment, and he could very well prove me wrong, but I think Scottie Scheffler's game is there. I think Bryson DeChambeau is someone that you have to watch out for, and I think you have to watch out for Jon Rahm. I know we haven't heard a lot of Jon Rahm lately, and again, that's what happens when you go to the LIV Golf Tour. No one cares about you anymore. No one talks about you anymore, but Jon Rahm is a former winner back in 2021, won at Torrey Pines, so he's definitely someone you have to watch out for. So, I mean, obviously you have to watch out for Rory, but I still think you got to fade him. That's just my opinion, and he could very well prove me wrong. He very well could prove me wrong, but who knows? You just have to wait and see. Xander Schauffele, major winner, someone you have to watch out for as well. I'm not really overly concerned with Colin Morikawa. Ludwig Åberg, I think, is someone that could also see his name towards the top of the leaderboard. I want to see Harris English plus 10,000, plus 1,200 top 5, plus 500 top 10. To me, if I'm going to sprinkle some money on there, I think Harris English top 10 at the U.S. Open. He performs well at these types of courses, but for me, I got to go with Scottie Scheffler. Again, call me boring, call me lame. I don't care. That's just how I look at it. But I really am interested to see how they're going to play that par 3 8th hole. That's going to be like 300 yards. And I mean, these guys also can hit some crazy shots. I mean, I think Michael Kim went out there and said that he had a driver pin high. And I know, for Tiger Woods, he's played 300-yard par 3s before, and he said, I will never hit a driver on a par 3. It's sacrilegious to me. So I'm super excited for the U.S. Open. We got our third major of the year, and then we have our last major next month at the Open Championship. But, I mean, the first two majors of the year went to world number 2 and world number 1. So, and it's crazy to say, like, Rory's won a major this year, and I'm telling you, fade him. And I'm no expert here. I'm no expert, okay? But just looking at the stats don't support that he's going to play well here at Oakmont. Now, as anyone that's ever golfed, you know that you will have a different swing every day. Different day, different swing. Now, could Rory put it together in these 4 or 5 days? Absolutely he could. He's one of the best players in the world. He's number 2. He absolutely could. But I still just don't trust Rory in a big moment. It's crazy. He's won the career Grand Slam. I just don't think his game's there right now. And again, he could very well prove me wrong, but I'm still going to take Scottie Scheffler, a very, very boring pick. So that's my U.S. Open preview. I didn't want to bore you to tears. I could have got into much, much more depth with that, but I didn't want to bore you to tears with this one. So that was episode 3 of the New England Golfer. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Episode 4 will come out on Sunday night. I'll break down the U.S. Open, whoever wins, and then we'll go from there. But until next time, we'll see you on the next episode of the New England Golfer.